respect to population data, migration is something that we are going to have to cope with.
Welcome back to Moose on the Loose. My name's David. Today we got a fun episode. We've got Jagmeet getting mocked and heckled on the street. We got Vassy just tearing into the Liberals. She's doing a lot of these interviews with them recently. We got some updated polling numbers. We've got Boo here with us today. So let's jump into this. So first up, we got the new polling numbers here that have come out. This is an Angus Reid poll from June 19th. You can see Pierre Poilievre 42%. Look at this. We've got Trudeau at 21 and Jagmeet at 20. This is getting dangerously close to swapping. What's going on here? 5%? Is this going up, Elizabeth May? I want Trudeau down with May. They can hang out and drink their sorrows away. A few episodes ago, I talked about a new protest or something that's going on July 1st. Well, I found it. It's this one here. It's a Take Back Canada protest going against the mass migration to Canada. Canada Day, July 1st. This is happening in Toronto. It says here, Toronto and Queen's Park. So if you're in Toronto, you want to be a part of that, that's what's happening July 1st. We've got some spicy updates here. We've got Larry Brock pushing hard in the committee meetings. This one here says RCMP confirmed the date of the next election will not impact or delay any charges being laid on Trudeau's $60 million Arrive scam.
Commissioner, can you confirm that the next general election will not impede or interfere with your multiple investigations into fraudulent procurement practices and the potential laying of criminal charges?
Mr. Chair, as I mentioned earlier, the independence of policing is a key thing for us, and it's respected, and we will not change the course because there's a general.
So the answer is no, it will not.
That's right.
Thank you, Commissioner.
The policing will be respected once we see Christian Firth in jail, or at the very least, charges laid and our money back. He can't just walk away. He got paid $2,500 an hour, doing almost nothing, a couple hours of work a day. GC Strategies. This thousands of deleted emails. The whole thing is just a big joke. We've also got this clip here from Larry Brock as well. It says RCMP will review all files on corruption at Trudeau's $1 billion green slush fund. Directors funneled taxpayer money to companies they own. The Auditor General found over $336 million paid out was in a conflict of interest.
The majority of MPs in the House of Commons voted for a Conservative motion that orders the Auditor General, the Department of Industry, and SDTC, the Green Slush Fund, to collect and submit them to the Parliamentary Law Clerk. The motion passed essentially programs the Parliamentary Law Clerk to hand over files to the RCMP. They will be delivered to the RCMP headquarters. Will you commit, Commissioner or Deputy Commissioner, to undertaking a review of those documents?
I can say that any information that comes to the RCMP will go through appropriate level of review, using the appropriate resources to do so.
It's unbelievable. Anytime the Conservatives get close to anything, they start pushing that wound that hurts, there's always point of order, point of order. Liberals just want to shut it down every time. I have no faith in the RCMP or the entire justice system for that matter. Yeah, I think that's most Canadians at this point. They need to prove themselves to us, because we just don't trust that they're acting in our best interest. We got another clip here. It says the RCMP has confirmed that they have not laid any charges on Christian Firth from GC Strategies, despite having undeniable evidence he forged resumes and defrauded Canadian taxpayers during the development of the ArriveCan app. Meanwhile, Tamara Lynch was arrested and held without bail for allegedly committing mischief and is still in a lengthy political battle with the state based on circumstantial evidence. Do you see the difference yet, Canada? This is well written. This is this is summed up right to the T here.
So Mr. Brock asked you before, I want to cover these questions again. Has Mr. Christian Firth been arrested?
I'm not going to confirm that.
Has he been charged?
As I stated earlier, if Mr. Firth had been charged, there'd be a public record of that.
So is there a public record of any charges being laid in relation to your investigation into the ArriveCan matter?
Not that I'm aware of.
Unbelievable. So Christian Firth just walks free after stealing $60 million taxpayer dollars. And then he shows up at committee there, and he's all got the big poopy pants, the lip out. Ugh, people said bad things to me at my house. Oh, please. Clearly, the RCMP have no intentions of bringing any charges against these corrupt people. Yeah, that's what it seems like. Next up, we got a clip here that's pretty polarizing. Let's see what you guys think. This is Jagmeet getting heckled and mocked in the streets, but he's riding a bike. He looks like an absolute goof, but he's got his daughter in the front box. And The comments here are very polarizing. So before we play the clip, we'll just take a look here. He has a child with him. What's wrong with people? Don't bring a shield. Kids don't give you a pass when you're holding Canada hostage as a traitor to the country. If it was just him and other adults, by all means, speak your mind, but yelling that stuff in front of a young child, question mark. So people are divided here. What do you guys think?
Resign, step down. You're a traitor to this country.
Stop your coalition, Jagmeet! Can't block my path. Who do you think you are? What's your name? What's your name?
You got it right here.
Yeah, what's your name? You coward to say it?
No.
Then what is it?
You got it here.
That's not a name, that's a number. Yeah, you're a public servant. All you are is a fucking number.
You're not even allowed to be in your own country. That's why you moved to Canada.
Can move all around, there's not enough of them to block us.
It's an embarrassment.
Jagmeet, you are a terrorist and a tyrant.
You're a terrorist. Your
daughter's gonna have to pay for your salary. You betrayed the government. You are a tyrant. You are a terrorist. You are a piece of shit.
That's right, he is.
It's a fucking Trudeau's bitch. That's what you are. You're Trudeau's bitch, Jagmeet. Are you not ashamed? You should be embarrassed, Jagmeet. You've ruined Canada. You guys are helping.
Sleep in bed with Trudeau.
No morals, no integrity. You work for us.
Shame on you.
Not other public servants. You work for us.
Yep.
Bow down, tap out, keep your fucking distance.
Shame on you.
Listen to Fauci, 6 weeks. I have COVID. You might want to stay 6 feet. Yeah? Yeah. You've ruined the NDP name. You aren't going to make a party at the next election.
He has 100% ruined the NDP name. Remember Jack Layton running that party? It was a completely different thing.
You suck. You're a terrorist, and you're a traitor to Canada. Your daughter is going to be paid for your salary and your pension. Your daughter and her children. This money that you spend is ridiculous. Your dental plan won't work. Neither will your friggin' breakfast program.
This is ridiculous. Look at Jagmeet on his little bike. So I looked this up because I was like, where's his helmet? Because in BC, you have to have a helmet. In Ottawa, you don't have to wear a helmet over the age of 18. But I did look up, it is illegal to ride on a sidewalk. So is Jagmeet breaking the law here? I don't know if this is some technically mixed use bike lane walking path, or is he breaking the law here? I don't know. But I think it's an $80 fine, Jagmeet.
Why don't you lower taxes so people can feed their own kids?
Exactly.
If you lowered taxes, you wouldn't need the program. All right, ma'am, you could feed all of Canada.
Yeah, that's pretty spicy. That's giving it to him on the street. So let me know down below what you guys think. Is that too much? I mean, obviously she's swearing in front of the kid. The kid was watching the whole time. The kid probably doesn't understand, well, why is my dad such a bad guy? But when you're propping up the worst prime minister in Canadian history and it's causing so much suffering and people ending themselves and stuff, it's like, well, you're kind of inviting that, Jagmeet. He shouldn't be bringing his kid out into public like that. Because you have to sleep in the bed you made, Jagmeet. Next up, we got another zinger here from Stephen McKinnon. All we have to do is focus on those summertime barbecues, and we'll be so thankful for the Liberals, right?
None of this seems to be resonating with Canadians.
You know, when Canadians take stock, as they will over the summer, over a good barbecue, of how their lives have been positively impacted, couples saving tens of thousands of dollars on childcare costs, seniors getting dental care, many for the first time, and a new denture. People able to make ends meet specifically because of the measures put forward by this government.
What measures are those? UBI? How are they helping anyone make ends meet? Yeah, so he's got nothing to say except for we should be grateful while we're having summertime barbecue? This is ridiculous. I can't afford meat because of how well the Liberals have done. How can we have a good barbecue? The Libs haven't posted any cricket recipes. We're all going to starve without good cricket recipes. You should say that outside the food banks and see how well that goes over. Oh. Could they be any more condescending to us? He didn't mention to you that you have to be on a parliamentarian salary to be able to put meat on said barbecue. Yeah, no kidding. Is Steve-O buying us all steaks? Because they're about $30 each, asking for a friend. We got an update here. So here's this guy. Remember I showed you a couple days ago with his pointy tool. So apparently this guy, he got arrested by the RCMP. Woo, awesome, right? Except now he's back on the streets. He went in, he went out. Trudeau's catch and release policy says man arrested for alleged road rage, pointy tool, bad times. Already back on the streets despite breaching previous court conditions. We've got like a knife wielding guy from the Middle East. Like, just deport, kick him out. Like, this is absurd. This country's become an absolute joke. This post here says, Dear Muslims, you know that LED billboard truck with racist messages? So I'll show you it here so we know what we're talking about. Basically, there's this truck driving around. Is this Yemen? Is this Syria? Is this Iraq? No, this is Canada. Wake up, Canada. You are under siege. So this has stirred up a lot of controversy because people are saying this is racist, you can't put that on there, etc., etc. So going back to this post, it says the audacity of the community to complain about seeing a truck with a message you don't like while also doing things like this in our country is off the charts. So what we're seeing here is a ton of Muslims praying in the middle of the street, blocking all of our infrastructure, which is a federal crime. You can't block major infrastructure in Canada. What is this? So it's a two-way street. You know, people come here, freedom of religion, that's Canada. That's a right. But you also don't have freedom of blocking infrastructure. We've got the knife wielders. We've got a lot of bad cultural stuff coming in that doesn't mesh here. So I don't know if Canada needs to evaluate which cultures can happily mingle with all the other cultures. This is something that people haven't really talked about. It becomes some voodoo topic, but it's like some cultures mesh better with others and some cultures cannot play nice with all other cultures. Maybe it's time to actually just have a look at statistics around the world, do it based on statistics and see, are there certain cultures that come in and just can't play nice? I think that's something the government should actually spend some money on, not $220 million to McKinsey for consulting. That's absolutely worthless. Because if we're taking more and more people from Muslim countries and we get bigger and bigger problems because there's more and more people to create bigger and bigger problems like this, then that's a problem. Because why would we further harm our country? It doesn't make sense. So, and I don't know if these people realize, but they're doing a disservice to the other people who want to come over here, because then you piss off the people here. And this is our country. You can't come take it. You come join it. That's the problem here, is that a lot of Canadians feel like people are coming over to take, conquering versus joining in. We look at the comments here. What do we got? In how many Muslim countries do you see them praying and blocking traffic on the roads? You don't. So this is in favor. As a true Muslim, I denounce those neo-Muslims' action. Prayer is a holy practice that must be done with the utmost respect in a respectful place and for the sole purpose, which is submission to Allah, and not to spread hate or for political plots. So do what you will with them. So this is a great take here. I've seen a few comments like this in a few different posts in different places. Basically, some Muslims saying like it should be done in a sacred place. Like you can't just be doing it on the streets. So you're getting polarizing things. And like I just mentioned, these are setting a bad example for good people like this guy here. Ontario, the Muslim capital of Canada, enjoy. So like people are back and forth on this. People don't like that the culture has changed so quickly. But I mean, that's what happens when you bring over 1.2 million people from India every year. It's like, well, they're bringing over their religion too. It all comes back to having an equal distribution of immigration, which the Trudeau Liberals aren't doing. They obviously do this on purpose. They want to create this sort of chaos. Otherwise, they would properly balance the immigration from numerous 15 different countries or something. The majority comes from China and India right now. Next up, we got a clip here with Vassy and Captain Creepy here. Vassy doesn't hold back here, and you can tell she's kind of getting tired of all their lies and filth they keep spewing on her show.
When we spoke at the beginning of January, when the sitting was just getting started, you insisted your government, I remember the words you used, was laser-like focused on improving the lives of Canadians and specifically on making their life more affordable. The 3 public opinion polls that came out this week very specifically show that few Canadians feel your government has actually done that. Why do you think you failed to convince them?
Well, we have, look, we showed up to work every day delivering results for Canadians, Vassy, and we passed 15 bills in 14 weeks, which is a good clip for any government, let alone a minority government. But people don't relate to bills, they relate to concrete measures. Those measures include a brand new dental care program, a brand new pharmacare program, supports.
So he's just going to go on and on and on, word salading, just the same crap that Trudeau's always saying in the House of Commons. It's dental care, pharmacare, blah, blah, blah.
There are some encouraging signs on the economic front. We're just going to keep showing up every day and working.
Do you think those blue skies are truly being felt by Canadians? I take your point on some of the examples you put forward, for example, around dental care and pharmacare. But when you look at the overall performance of our economy on a per capita basis, new population data today, for example, shows that average incomes are down 2.45% between the first quarter of 2023 and 2024. The level of per capita GDP in the latest quarter measured by Statistics Canada is the same as it was, Minister, in 2017. What responsibility does your government bear for that? And how will you improve the situation for Canadians? Because they simply don't believe at this point that you will.
Well, in your first question, Vassy, we know that there are a lot of challenges. The pandemic, wars in Europe and the Middle East.
Here it is. Just blame everything and anything except yourselves.
There have been a lot of shocks to the system around the world. And I know governments around the world are feeling it. But more importantly, people at home are feeling those challenges. With respect to population data, migration is something that we are going to have to cope with. If you're following the British election, it's something they're coping with. If you're following the U.S. election, the French election, migration from other countries is going to be something that countries, especially more prosperous, industrialized countries, deal with. And
you don't have to cope with this. Switzerland doesn't cope with it. They just shut the door. We don't have to allow in 1.2 million people a year. We don't. Why would we burden all of our citizens doing that? That makes no sense. It makes sense if you own a lot of houses and you decided to jack the immigration, then have those housing prices go through the roof and get stinking rich. That makes sense. But causing suffering to 41 million people for no reason does not make sense.
Of course, as these people first enter Canada or the UK or the United States, they don't immediately accede to economic contributions. But we see with labor shortages and so on that this turnaround is happening quickly, and they rapidly become very productive citizens. So there are migratory shocks. We understand those, and obviously working hard to deal with them and to cope with them. But I would point out in concluding on this answer with one thing. Wage gains for about the last year and a half have outpaced inflation. Now, we know inflation is a factor. Food inflation is coming down even faster than...
Look at this. She's not buying it. She's like, dude, you're full of crap.
But wages, and specifically wages for women, are increasing faster and have been for some time now than the rate of inflation. And as a result, I think that's an encouraging sign for Canadians. Are they feeling it yet? I don't know. I think not entirely.
I don't think they are,
I think
Minister.
we have a lot of work to do.
No, Minister, yeah, with respect, look, the food prices have gone up 20% in the last 3 years. And
food prices have gone up 200%.
And the way that you answered that question made me feel as though you were telling Canadians all this other stuff around the world is happening, and it's happening in other places as well, which is not untrue. But does that mean that your government doesn't bear any responsibility for the situation here in Canada? When you reference migratory shocks, for example, it is your government that sets the migration policy to this country. It is your government that has allowed temporary migration to get where it is. And then all of a sudden you had to bring in all these new policy measures this year to finally cap it. Your government does bear some responsibility.
100%
That's taking a little bit of a shortcut. We have international treaties, as do all of our allies and all countries, with respect to asylum seekers. That is, of course, one of the major shocks.
I'm not referencing asylum seekers. It's mostly temporary migration for students.
He's trying to weasel out of it. And she knows those asylum seekers is not the big numbers. It's in the tens of thousands. It's not the 1.2 million.
There indeed, we have, as you and I have discussed, curtailed the number of temporary residents in Canada, specifically students. We've imposed visa requirements on Mexico, for instance. We are taking action on a number of fronts, but we do continue to have labor shortages. There are hospitals near my riding that could not operate without immigrants helping to run those hospitals. The entire care economy, many of the corners of our agricultural sector, our food sector. Canada has needs. We want people here contributing to the economy, working hard.
Canada has needs. These guys have needs to jack the prices of homes to get rich. That's what's happened here. It's either that or they're good buddies with the bankers, and the bankers are making a killing off the higher interest rates with all the mortgages and stuff. It's one or the other, or both. They're working in this together just to fleece the Canadian population. If they really believed in bringing in more people to benefit Canada, they would have continued the old system and increased the numbers a bit, but still had the really stringent rules, not bringing in random guys with blades that just run around the streets and then throw him in jail for the night and he's back out on the street again with his blade ready to roll. Like this place has become a joke. They think we don't see what's going on, but it's a big scheme here to get rich. That's all this is.
Paying the bills and contributing in all ways to our economy, putting food on the table, but also being very productive citizens.
And certainly, Minister, I don't think questioning the level of immigration means that someone is saying immigration is bad or is not a part of the fabric of this country. So let me delineate very clearly. I was not speaking about a permanent immigration, the 500,000 immigrants that this country has seen come in over the last year. I'm speaking specifically of temporary migration. Statistics Canada also released new data on that today, saying that temporary residents now make up 6.8% of the population, up from 3.5% 2 years ago. I think it's fair to say if your government had introduced the policies you recently did earlier or had taken a closer look at those patterns, we might not be facing the housing crisis we are today.
That's because we had failed Minister Sean Fraser, and now he's the failed housing minister, Sean Fraser, and we got Mark Miller in the immigration seat. They're just a couple of losers. Both these guys, Sean Fraser and Mark Miller, they're both lawyers before they're cabinet ministers for Trudeau. While I'm sure they're great at reading legal papers, they've proven they know absolutely nothing about managing two of the most important divisions of Canada.
Well, in the meantime, Vassy, we had a COVID shock. We had some severe constraints with respect to our labor force. We had, as we well know, in care homes and in other sectors of the economy, there were times, I will remind you, that, grain harvests, asparagus harvests in Cpac.
It was definitely the asparagus harvest. That's what took down Canada. Oh, the asparagus, that we just didn't have those delicious spears of goodness.
Fish plants were not able to operate during the COVID pandemic.
Oh, the fish plants. It took down Canada. That's why we just don't have enough houses now, because it was the fish plants.
Temporary immigration, the government's acting to curtail it as surgically as possible.
He just keeps rambling, offers nothing as usual. It's just, Vassy did a good job here pressing him, but he has nothing but just word salad to offer. Next up, we got this a new StatsCan report here posted by Shazzy Goli. Recent immigrants in Canada face severe financial struggles and diminished free time. This is the percent of immigrants arriving since 2005 who have reported difficulty meeting financial needs over the past 12 months. Basically summed up, 40% of immigrants are struggling here. So let's jump over to some memes. Before we go to my group, we've got this one posted by Pierre Polyev. It says, "You can't buy loyalty like this, except with a pension." Here we've got Employee of the Month, Jagmeet. I've seen so many posts like this, like Employee of the Month for 9 years. This is hilarious. Okay, over in my group, what memes we got today? Teacher, what are the 3 powers of government? Me, print money, interference of private property, and overspending. Teacher, that's wrong. Me, it's very wrong. We need to stop. You want to know what's more pathetic than the whole transgender narrative? They are canceling classes now for the heat. You can't make up this crap. They're really pushing this climate BS. I showed this on a video a couple days ago. In America, these colors are downgraded a couple. Like this would be green and yellow or whatever. Haven't they heard of summer? I bet he wishes he had a truck. Sadly, I believe this to be a government worker. So I can't pick my bedtime, but I can pick my gender. The government when you donate $10 to the Freedom Convoy. The government when MPs commit treason. Yeah, this is it. Evidence of global warming. Our economy is in excellent shape. Yours, on the other hand. Scam, wow. Carbon tax makes weather gooder. What's that guy's name? Vince Offer? I see those infomercials all the time. They think there is food in our food. That's where we're going to wrap up this episode. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys thought about that. The Jagmeet situation, he's getting mocked and heckled. He's got his daughter there. People are torn on it. So thanks for watching the end of the video here. I greatly appreciate it. Be sure to subscribe, hit the thumbs up. We'll keep fighting for freedom. I'll see you guys in the next one.